Hello friends, in this video I will introduce the LLP Act 2008. LLP Act 2008 has got 6 chapters. In the very first chapter I'll be talking about LLP and then salient features of LLP, difference between LLP and partnership firm, and how is LLP different from LLC. So all these headings you'll be learning under this very first chapter of LLP Act 2008. Now LLP is the hybrid form of business organization. The question arises why it is known as hybrid, because it combines the features of partnership firm and LLP. So that is why nowadays many people prefer that they should set up this LLP form of business organization. Then I would like to talk about LLP agreement. LLP has got 4 schedules. There are 4 schedules under the LLP Act 2008: Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3 and Schedule 4. Now when LLP is registered, then parties of the LLP may decide to draft LLP agreement. But it is not must. This drafting of LLP agreement is not mandatory. If they decide they should draft, they will draft. But if they decide not to have LLP agreement, then they can also get the LLP registered without preparing the LLP agreement. So if they decide not to draft LLP agreement, then there are mutual rights and obligations which are laid down under Schedule 1 of the Act. Then all parties of LLP will be bound by the various provisions which have been contained under Schedule 1 of the LLP Act 2008. And Schedule 2, 3 and 4, they contain the various provisions relating to conversion of partnership firm into LLP, then private company into LLP, and then unlisted public company into LLP. But listed public company can never ever be converted into LLP. Then comes the second chapter. Second chapter is regarding formation of LLP. Now LLP must be registered. LLP comes into existence through a legal process which is known as incorporation, and it is dissolved or it comes to an end through another process which is known as dissolution. Now when LLP is formed, there are certain prerequisites of LLP. We should have normal partners, then designated partners, and then name of the LLP, proposed LLP is must. Then LLP needs one registered office also, and registered office is a place where all documents will be addressed. So under this second chapter of under the LLP Act 2008, I will be teaching you I'll be teaching you various headings, like which are the various steps involved in the formation of LLP. Now, when we talk about designated partners, they do require DPIN. DPIN stands for Designated Partner Identification Number. As most of the documents or all documents need to be filed online, so these designated partners, they must obtain digital signature certificate also by following a proper procedure. So there are 6 steps which are involved in the formation of LLP. Then there are certain effects of registration of LLP or consequences of registration of LLP, because after the steps are followed, then the business is registered and it becomes that is the LLP comes into existence. And then the LLP the partners of the LLP the LLP can acquire all assets, hold all assets, acquire all assets, dispose of all assets, liabilities, interest, rights as a going concern. So there are certain consequences which have been laid down under the LLP Act 2008 of the registration. And then there are certain provisions relating to registered office of LLP. and registered office of LLP, if the partners may decide in which manner the document should be addressed or sent to the LLP. If the partners of the LLP decide to shift the registered office from one state to another, then what is the procedure which they have to follow? Then friends, after that comes the next heading under this second chapter, which is about name of LLP. Any LLP has to be registered with the name, and there are certain guidelines for the name of LLP. So these guidelines, there are certain guidelines which have been provided by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and these guidelines are also available on the website of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So all provisions relating to the name of LLP, they have been contained under sections 15 to 21 of the LLP Act 2008. Now regarding the third chapter, which is partners and their relations to LLP. How can a person become a partner of LLP who is not qualified or disqualified to be a partner of LLP? Then what will happen if the number of partners in the case of LLP goes below 2, which is the statutory limit? Then what impact it will have on the liability of that particular partner. So the provision has been contained under section 6 of the LLP Act 2008. Then who can be designated partner? Then what are the qualifications which have been laid down for the designated partner, or who is disqualified to be a designated partner? So the provisions have been laid down under section 9 of the LLP Act 2008. 9 to 10 points are there, which explain the various provisions relating to the designated partners. Then how a partner of the LLP ceases to be a partner of LLP? How a partner ceases to be a partner of LLP? What are the consequences of cessation of a partner? Then what is the extent or nature of LLP's liability? What is the extent or nature of partner's liability in case of LLP? What is contribution? The term contribution is very, very important in the context of LLP. Contribution is equal to capital in case of partnership, and it is equal to share capital in case of a company. Contribution, as the name implies, contribution means what? The amount what the partners contribute to the LLP. Friends, it is not necessary that partners should always contribute by way of cash. They may contribute in cash, they may also contribute in kind. They can, they can provide movable assets or expertise or whatever form, whether a cash or kind they want to contribute, they may contribute to the LLP. Then there are certain provisions which have been laid down regarding this contribution of LLP. If at any point of time the partner needs money, can he withdraw from the LLP or not? So as we have the provisions in case of partnership firm, similarly friends, we have certain provisions regarding this contribution also in case of LLP. The next chapter, next heading under this chapter is the whistleblowing. Whistleblowing, as the name implies, whistle is blown against the illegal act. The whistle may be blown internally or whistle may be blown externally if the internal management does not listen to the voice of the whistleblower. When the whistle is blown, then the person against whom the whistle is blown, he, develops the spirit of revenge. So, the whistleblower's life is always at risk. So, the lot of protection has been provided under the LLP Act 2008. The protection has been provided to the partners and employees under Section 31 of the LLP Act 2008. So, number of headings I have talked about under this chapter number 3 under the LLP Act 2008. Now, next chapter number 4 is regarding financial disclosures and taxation of LLP. Financial disclosure heading is not in the syllabi of BCom Honors Semester 1. But taxation treatment of the LLP is very much in syllabus of BCom Honors Semester 1 students under Delhi University. Now, the LLP Act 2008 is silent about the taxation treatment of LLP. But the roadmap has been provided by the Income Tax Act 1961. LLP is to be treated as at the same steps, as the partnership firm is taxed. So there are 16 points which I'll be discussing in my subsequent videos regarding the taxation treatment of LLP. The 5th chapter under the LLP Act is conversion into LLP. How can the partnership firm, private company or the unlisted public company be converted into LLP? Sections 55 to 58, they deal with the various provisions. Section 55 and Schedule 1. Schedule 1 contains the mutual rights and obligations of partners of LLP. Schedule 2 contains the various provisions regarding conversion of partnership firm into LLP. And Section 56 and Schedule 3 to the LLP Act contains the various provisions regarding conversion of private company into LLP. And Schedule 4 and Section 57, they contain the various provisions regarding conversion of unlisted public company into LLP. Then consequences of registration of conversion, they have been laid down under Section 58 of the LLP Act 2008. The last chapter under the LLP Act 2008 is regarding winding up and dissolution. Now, winding up. When we talk about the LLP is wound up. Winding up means the life of the LLP coming to an end. But winding up is not a single day process. It takes time. All assets of the LLP are disposed of. All liabilities are paid off. And if any surplus is left out, that surplus has to be divided or distributed among the partners as per the LLP agreement. And in case the partners have decided not to go for LLP agreement, then the Schedule 1 provision shall apply. But when we talk about winding up, LLP is wound up, let us presume, then the LLP's entity remains. Because winding up takes time, the entity of the LLP remains. But when we talk about dissolution, then all activities, the business comes to an end. All activities are suspended, and the LLP does not remain with the same name, and the name of LLP is struck off from the register of members, which is maintained by the ROC, Registrar of Companies. So broadly speaking, there are two modes of dissolution of LLP or winding up of LLP. First one is the voluntary winding up, and second is compulsory winding up. Now, in case of compulsory winding up, the tribunal intervenes. Or compulsory winding up, we may call winding up of the LLP with the intervention of the tribunal. So there are various grounds on which the LLP can be wound up on compulsory basis. So in my subsequent videos, I'll be talking about the voluntary winding up and then the compulsory winding up, and the various provisions relating to the voluntary and compulsory winding up. I'll be discussing in my videos. Okay friends, this is all about the introduction of the LLP Act 2008. Do like my video, do subscribe to my channel, and click on the icon, but there's click on the button, so that you can get more videos notifications. So I'll explore more videos. I'll come with you regarding the more videos. And keep watching the videos. Keep liking the videos. Okay, friends. Goodbye.